We only have so many hours a day and we only have so much mental energy to give. So in this video, I'm going to show you 5 iPhone hacks to help you improve your work-life balance. So I'm going to share my screen with you and we'll go through them one by one. Let me have a look at this. First one then is what phone am I using? I'm using an iPhone 12 and my iOS is 16.5. So everything that you see is from that point of view. If things are slightly different for you in a different place, then it could be that you're using a different phone and a different iOS than I am. So I know that some of these features are available on iOS 15 and above. So if you've got that software on your phone, then what I show you should be fine. If you're not sure what you've got, then if you go into settings, click on your name at the top, scroll down, and then click on your particular phone at the bottom, just here, it will tell you the model and it will tell you the version that you have got, so you can go and check. Okay, so my hacks for better work-life balance. Number 1 is I turned off my notifications. I find the little boxes telling you how many messages you've missed or how many updates you haven't seen really off-putting, and it really affects my focus. So personally, I only get information when I go into an app and actually look at it. So therefore I can choose within my day where that particular action suits me to go in and have a look at these things. If I look down and there's a whole heap of notifications on my phone that I haven't seen, then I find that really distracting. So to switch off your notifications, you want to go to settings and then notifications. And then if you scroll down to all of your various different apps and choose the ones, you can literally go in, and as you can see here, I've got my notifications switched off. So my first little tip is go into your settings and switch off notifications for everything, and then you're not constantly getting distracted by your phone. Okay, next one is this app that is for Facebook and Instagram, which is Business Suite. If you don't have Business Suite, then I do suggest that you download it. In here, I can do everything to do with my business pages on Facebook and Instagram without going into Facebook and Instagram. So what happens for me is when I go into Facebook and when I go into Instagram, it's the world of shiny things and I get distracted and I end up replying to a friend or commenting on posts, and before you know it, an hour and a half has gone and I still haven't done the post for my business page, which is what I originally wanted to do. Where in Business Suite, you can go in and everything to do with your business pages is here, and you can do it in here without then getting distracted by everything else that's on Instagram and Facebook. So I can create a post on one feed or both feeds, or I could post in a group. I can schedule a post from here as well on both platforms. I can look at my inbox and the messages, but it's all to do with my business pages and I don't get distracted by all the other stuff that's on those platforms. So I personally find that really useful in terms of my work-life balance and keeping focused. Speaking about keeping focused, if you scroll down, hack number 3, if you scroll down from the top right hand, there's lots of settings in here in quick start settings. And one's called focus. And if you click on that, you have various settings which you can set up in settings. I'll show you where to do that in a second. But you can very quickly turn on Do Not Disturb. And that's quite useful if you are recording videos, for example, to make sure that on Do Not Disturb, then you're not going to get calls and messages or things like that. Or if you want to focus on a particular piece of work and not be disturbed by your phone, very quickly you can put on Do Not Disturb. You can set up various things, as I said, like personal Do Not Disturbs and things like that. If you go into settings and go back to the home page, you have one called Focus, and this is where you set up the various bits that you want. So if you wanted after 5 o'clock to not be disturbed by your phone because it's personal time, you could absolutely do that in those focus settings. So that's really cool. Speaking of focus, I have an app that I really like called Insight Timer. And I particularly like this because A, it has some really good quotes that keep you motivated, but B, it has the timer function, and you can preset timers if you wanted. So you can have like a meditation for 15 minutes, which I quite like as part of my lunch. If I can squeeze it in, kind of eat my food and then have a 15-minute meditation, or if I'm waiting for videos to upload or to process or whatever, then I can sit and meditate for 15 minutes, which is really nice to kind of be able to do that really quickly on my phone and have that as part of my day is really nice. The other thing I use this for is also that kind of focus of saying, right, I've got an activity to do and I want to spend 45 minutes doing it. I could set up a timer for that. And I much prefer the starting bells and the I can put some kind of ambient sound to that, as opposed to using the stopwatch on here, which I find quite abrupt in terms of its ring and things like that. So I also use Insight Timer if I want to focus on an activity for a particular amount of time, then I find it really good for that as well. So that's Insight Timer. Okay, the last one that I wanted to show you was around screen time, because it's about where are you spending your time and how much time are you spending on your screens. And it's really good to see that. And it's also really good to have a look because it tracks exactly what you're looking at. And then you can have a look and say, oh, actually, you know, that time is too much. So if you go into settings, there's one called screen time, which is just here. And then in here, it will give you you can see all activity. So you can see roughly how long you take on your screen, and underneath it will tell you the sorts of stuff that you are looking at. So you can make an educated choice over where you spend your screen time and how much time you spend on your device. Underneath that, it has some quite interesting settings as well, which you can have a look at in terms of downtime and app limits and things like that, which are quite useful as well. But it's good to kind of monitor sometimes your screen time and think, oh, actually, was that a productive use of your time, or would you prefer to spend that time in other places and doing other things? So I think tracking your screen time or being aware of where you spend your time is a really good thing as well. So that is 5 iPhone hacks to help you have a better work-life balance. I am not anti-digital technology. I think phones have a really, really useful part to play, and there's so many things on phones that can help you with your work-life balance, but it's about deciding and using that time really well. So as a recap then, number 1 is notifications. Decide what you want notifications for and go into your settings and switch off notifications for everything that you don't want them for. Number 2, the app business suite for Facebook and Instagram. If you're one of these people that, like me, gets really interested in everything that's on those social media platforms and you just want to go on and post something for your business and that's it, then use business suite. Number 2 is those quick app settings in the top when you drag down from the top, particularly do not disturb, and setting that up on your phone. Insight Timer is really, really good for meditations and for time blocking your time and then using that time really productively. I really like that as an app. And the last one is screen time, tracking your amount of time that you're spending on your phone and what you're doing with that and whether it's productive or not. Because then if you are saying, I'm kind of not moving forward in my business, but I'm spending 4 hours of screen time, then potentially that knowledge can help you to adjust where you're spending your time in order to get more productive in what you're doing. So I hope you found that useful and something interesting out of those particular hacks. If you've got other iPhone hacks or other hacks for Samsungs or Google phones that you'd like to post in the comments, please do feel free. I love sharing this kind of advice so that everyone can benefit. That's it for this week's video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next week for the next one.